Welcome back to Coding Depth. In today's video, we will be seeing n8n. So, what is n8n? So, before going into the details, right, I have one request. So, many of you watch my videos, but you do not subscribe to the channel. So, I request please subscribe to the channel. That will motivate me and help growing the channel. So, if you like my videos and want to watch more videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. So with that away, let us get started with the video. So what is n8n? So n8n is a no-code solution for automation. So they have integrated AI workflows as well. So when it comes to AI workflow automation, n8n is the go-to tool. So how do we use n8n? There are multiple ways in which you can use n8n. N8n is a open source solution, so you can install it in your local. So if you go to the documentation, right, there is a self-host solution. So let me click on hosting n8n. You can use the Docker. By running this Docker command, right, you can have it up and running in your local. I'll not be running it in my local. The second option is to self-host it. You can use providers like a DigitalOcean for that. I'll give you a link in the description below. You can use that link and sign up to DigitalOcean. And they have got a detailed documentation on how to set it up using DigitalOcean. I'll be using the third method, that is using their cloud for hosting. So for testing purposes, right, you can use their cloud. It is free for 14 days. So you'll get a 14 days trial if you go to pricing, right? Without adding any credit card, you will get a 14 days trial. So let me click on get started. What I'll do is I'll use a temporary email. So I'll search for temp mail or I'll go to tempmail.org. This will generate an email for me. I can copy this. Since this is a demo and I'm creating a throwaway account. So yeah, test. I will copy that email. So I'll fill all the details and click on start free 14-day trial. There will be bunch of questions here. You can give it and save, and I'll skip all these things. This will take up to a minute to set up. Yeah, now the workspace is online. I can click on start automating. So before automating, right, let us go to their website and see what are all the integrations they have. So you can integrate like Google Sheets, Gmail, Slack, Telegram. Most of the tool integration is already available. If it is not existing, right, then you can make HTTP request. So all your popular tools will have, API key and API endpoint. You can use HTTP request to make request to them and get the data and integrate with n8n. And also one more thing I want to show you is there are a lot of 6,000 plus automation templates here. So you can use the ready-made templates as well. You can explore this after watching this video. Now let us go ahead and create a new workflow from scratch. So this is the editor you will get. You can add your first step and you can watch your executions here. Of course, we did not do any executions. You will not be able to see anything here. So we will have two workflows in this video. First one is to take user input in a form and update it to a Google Sheet. Second one is to search the web and crawl the websites and summarize the results and send that message in a Telegram message. So let's get started. I'll add the first step. So our first step is I'll add a form, that is an n8n form. So I'll click on new n8n form event. So this is the test URL. I'll not have any authentication for this. I'll say form title as submit feedback and description as please share your feedback. And I will add first field as name, which will be text, which is required. Next is email. This is email. This is also required. Then for feedback, right, I'll add a radio button. Let's say rating. I'll give four options: great, good, average, and bad. And this is also required field. And finally, I will add review. This will be a text area. This is not required. Review is optional. I'll click on execute step. Now what happens? A form will pop up which has four fields. I can basically fill in this. I'll say name as Abhi, email as abhi@example.com. Okay, I think I made a typo. We can correct that later. I'll say good, works well. I'll click on submit. I close this, right? So as you can see, right, the data is populated here. I can pin this. So what pinning does, right? It won't execute the workflow again. Whenever you click on execute step, right, it won't execute it, it will just output this data. So when you have 10 steps, right, if you want to execute the 10th step, then you can pin the first 9 step and just click on execute on the 10th step. It will use the data from the previous steps, it won't execute all the steps again. So that is what pinning does. So you can view the data in table, schema, or even in JSON format. Let us correct that typo. Yeah, you don't have to click on save or anything, it will auto save. So I'll click on back to canvas. So we have added a first step, that on form submission. So what we want to do on form submission, so we want to save the data to Google Sheet. So before saving to the Google Sheet, right, we want to check the data. We want to save to Google Sheet only if the user has submitted the review field. We don't want to save if the user has only submitted ratings, because we'll be sending this data to the feedback review team so that they can review the feedback and improve the application. They'll not be able to do anything with just the rating. Only if they have the review, they can improve on the application. We'll also save the ratings without reviews to another system where it can be used to aggregate and display the average ratings. So let's go back. Here I'll add an if condition. So here, right, you will get all the fields from the previous execution. So I'll say I can drag and drop here. If review, this is a string, is not empty. You can use this JSON notation to write, or you can drag and drop also. I'll say execution step. There will be two branches, true and false. Here it is true because there is review, and false branch. Go back. We have two branches here. Let me drag this to the side. And if it is true, I need to save it to Google Sheet. I'll search for Google Sheet. Action is I want to append or update a row in Sheet. So first thing it asks is create a new credential. We don't have the Google Sheet integrated yet. So I'll click on create new credential. I'll use sign in to Google. It will ask you to provide access to Google Drive. Click all the check marks and log in. I've completed the login. I'll close this. One thing you have to do, right? Go to Google Spreadsheets and create a new spreadsheet. Name it as feedbacks. Here, right? Create the fields name, email, rating, and review. Now I can search for that document. So select feedbacks. I have only one sheet. I'll select a sheet 1. Now it will fetch all the columns from that. So you need to map this. This is very easy. Just drag and drop. If you want to save submitted that, you can create a new column here and map that. And one more thing, right? You have to select column to match on, because you want to avoid duplicates. Let's say one person has submitted the feedback multiple times, then we don't want duplicates. So we will be matching on email. So if a person submits multiple reviews, then the latest review will be updated. Now let us test this. I'll click on execute step. So it has finished execution. Now let us go to the Google Sheet. As you can see, right, whatever data is submitted earlier in the form, that is saved here. And I will unpin this to save one more record. I'll click on execute workflow. I'll say test at the rate example.com. I'll just say average. I won't submit any review. I'll click on submit. Let's see what happens. One item went into false state and it is not saved to the Google Sheet. Let me create one more sheet here. This will be used to save all the ratings and reviews irrespective whether it has a review or not. Just copy this and paste here. We don't want the review or the name here. We just want the email and rating, because this will be used to calculate the average rating of the application. So I'll just copy paste this and I'll just connect this false state to the copy pasted one. Let us edit this. We want to go to this sheet 2 and it has fetched the columns. So I'll say email, then rating, and the column to match on is email. Now let me test this. So I'll say test at the rate example.com. I'll say good. I'll click on submit. And if I go to sheet 2, right, this will be saved. One thing here, right, we want all the ratings irrespective of whether it has reviews or not. So what we can do, right, after this is saved, right, you can save this to the sheet 2 as well. Now let me execute the workflow. I'll say John at the rate example.com. I'll say bad. App crashes. Click on submit. You can see the workflow running here. It has saved in both the places. Let us verify that. So John record is saved here, and this is saved for the rating system as well. So that is a simple workflow you can build in n8n. This doesn't have any AI or anything. Next, let us see how we can have AI in the workflow. I'll name it as feedback. I'll create a new workflow. Now the use case here, as we have discussed, right? We'll be searching the web for stock market news. Then those links will be crawling and getting the data from those websites and summarizing it using AI and sending that message in the Telegram group. So first step is we want to schedule this. I'll have a scheduler. So we want to schedule every day at let us say 4 p.m. So the scheduler is created. Next, what I'll do is I'll add a search node. So I'll be using serve for this. I first need to install. This will not come pre-installed. So I'll have to install this node. Let us wait for the installation to complete. And I'll select search Google News. Now we have to add the credential of SERP. So you can go to SERP API. You can go ahead and register here. You will get a free API key and you can come back and enter here. I have entered mine and clicked on save. It will try to test and verify the token is valid. So I'll close. So what is my search query? My search query will be India stock market news. So let me execute this step and see. So we have the results in the news results. So we are interested only in news results. So what we will do, right? I'll use this split out. So you can refer here. So we are interested in news results. So I'll execute this step. So this will filter out only the news results. I'll pin this as well. I'll go back. Now what we want, right? We have 100 items. We don't want 100 items. We want only the top 5 results. So I can do that by limiting it. I'll click on limit. From this, I want only 5 records. I can click on execute step. As you can see, right, the top 5 results are filtered out. I'll pin this as well. Go back. So we have these 5 results, right? We have the links. So we want to go to this link and extract the content from this URL. So for that, you need a crawler. Before that, we need to loop these items. So for the 5 records, we want to make 5 calls. So I'll search for loop over items. Batch size is 1. At a time, we will run one item. And we need to replace this. I'll delete it. And here I'll add API file. So this will be used for crawling the web. I'll install this node. I'll say scrape single URL. Again, you need credential. Go to apify.com and register for a free account. They give like $5 credit. So that should be enough for the practice. Register and copy the API key. Click on this API key and save it. So we have the data here. What we want is we want the link. I'll just clear this out and drag this link here. And I'll choose crawler type as playwright with Firefox. And I'll click on execute step and see what happens. This will take a while. It takes up to 1 minute. So we have 5 links. So it will take 5 minutes. So it has finished for this item. So there is a lot of metadata. What we are interested is in HTML or Markdown. So we can use this Markdown. So this, so if you see it in the table, right? This has a lot of data, entire article data. We don't want all this data, so we need to summarize this. For that, we'll add the EA step. So I'll go back. Once done, right, we need to aggregate this. So we have 5 records. So we want to aggregate it to one message so that we can send it to the AI model. So I'll say aggregate. So let us execute this for all the items. So I'll click on execute workflow. This loop will run for 5 times. Okay, the execution has completed. It took good 5 minutes to finish. What I'll do is I'll pin this. You can type P, it will pin it so that it doesn't execute again. Now I have what I want here. So what I want is the markdown. So I'll say input field is markdown. I also want the URLs. If users wants to go to the article and read in detail, they can do that. So I'll add an aggregate field. I'll say URL and I'll click on execute step. So we have got only the markdown and URL. As you can see, we have got URL for all the 5 articles. I'll click on go back. Now what we'll do is we will introduce the AI. So let's say OpenAI. You can use other models as well. Let's say Grok, which is free, and say Grok chart model. You can go to Grok Cloud and create an account here. I've shown in one of my previous videos how to do that. I'll be using OpenAI for this. So I'll say message and assistant. Again, you have to create the credential. You can use this free OpenAI credits from n8n. Somehow it didn't work for me. So I'll use my credentials. So I'll save the API key. I'll choose the model. I'll select a GPT 4.1 mini so that I don't consume a lot of dollar. Here, right, you can type the prompt. So I'll say summarize these news articles. Each article should be of 2 sentences and give read more link. And I will also say do not skip any article. And in the end, I'll pass this JSON and URL. You can drag and drop this. So I'll show how to drag and drop. So I'll say markdown and URL. And also I'll say output only the result, nothing else, because you don't want LLM to put here is the result. Let me know if you want anything else. Those things we don't want, only the result we want. Let me click on execute. It will call the LLM. So we have the output here. So we have 5 points with all the read more links. So let me pin this. Now the last step is to send the Telegram message. For that we want to set up the bot. You can go to the Telegram application or Telegram web. Create a new group here. Name it as CD n8n demo. Do not add any members yet. You want to create a bot now. So search for bot further and go to and say start and say new bot and say cdn8 demo and give the name as underscore bot. So it will create a bot and it will give you the access token. Copy that. Come back to an 8n. Select Telegram here. This is like a send a message. Select a send as text message. Create new credential. Paste that access token. Now it will ask for a chat ID. So what we want to do is so go to bot further and click on this link and click on start and go to that group. Now you want to search for the bot and add it. So you want to get the conversation ID from here. For that you will have to go to the web version of Telegram. You can access it at web.telegram.org. So how to get the group ID, right? Inspect element on that group. In the href you will get the chat ID. Click on edit as HTML and copy it. Copy along with that minus. Now go and paste the chat ID here. So what you want to send is you want to send the content. Also you want to say today's stock market news and click on execute step. If you have done everything properly, you will get the Telegram message now. So we have executed. I got the Telegram message. If I open it and see, right, it says today's stock market news and 5 articles and the link to read more. So that is how you can automate the workflow using n8n. If you have stayed till here, thank you for that. Please consider subscribing to the channel. See you in the next one.